Hello, Thomas, whistled Percy. You look splendid. Yes, indeed, boasted Thomas. Blue is the only proper color for an engine. Oh, I don't know. I like my brown paint, said Toby. I've always been green. I wouldn't want to be any other color either, added Percy. Well, anyway, huffed Thomas, blue is the only color for a really useful engine. Everyone knows that. Careful, he warned. Watch out with those silly cars. Go on, muttered the cars. And by the way, went on Thomas, those buffers don't look very safe to me. The last load poured down. Help, help, cried Thomas. Get me out. Percy was worried, but he couldn't help laughing. Thomas was covered in coal dust from smokebox to bunker. Ha ha, chuckled Percy. You don't look really useful now, Thomas. You look really disgraceful. I'm not disgraceful, choked Thomas. You did that on purpose. Get me out. Toby thought it a great joke, but Percy was cross with Thomas for thinking he had made his paint dirty on purpose. Fancy a really useful blue engine like Thomas becoming a disgrace to Sir Topham Hatt's railway. The buffers didn't stop him either. Oh, wailed Percy. Help! The buffers were broken, and Percy was wheel-deep in coal. It was time for Thomas to leave. He had seen everything. Now Percy has learned his lesson, too, he chuckled to himself.
He heard about the accident. They laughed and boasted. Fancy allowing cows to break your train. They wouldn't dare do that to us. We'd show them.
Some days later, Gordon rushed through Edward's station.
Boop, boop. Mind the cows.
Hurry, hurry, puffed Gordon. Don't make such a fuss. Don't make such a fuss, grumbled his coaches. Well, chuckled Edward. Two big engines afraid of a cow.
Afraid? Rubbish, said Gordon. We didn't want the poor thing to hurt herself by running up against us. We stopped so as not to excite her. You see what I mean, my dear Edward?
Yes, Gordon, said Edward. Gordon felt somehow that Edward saw only too well. Beep, beep. We're late. Where is Thomas? He doesn't usually make us wait. Oh, dear, what can the matter be? Sang the fireman. Johnny's so long and... Never you mind about Johnny, laughed the driver. Just you climb on the cab and look for Thomas. James had to wait at the station till Edward and his train came in. This made him cross. Late again! Edward laughed and James fumed away. He was still feeling very bad-tempered. Edward is impossible, he grumbled to the others. He clanks about like a lot of old iron, and he is so slow, he makes us wait. Thomas and Percy were indignant. Old iron? Slow? Why, Edward could beat you in a race any day. Really, said James. I should like to see him do it. So, the old iron caught you after all, chuckled Edward. I'm sorry, whispered James. Thank you for saving me. Oh, thank you, sir, said Edward. It'll be lovely not to clank. Indeed. Beep, beep. Hurry up, Gordon. The train's ready. Gordon thought he was late. Ha, 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 laughed Percy and showed him a train of dirty coal cars. It was James's turn. Stay in the shed today, James. Sir Topham Hatt will come and see you. Ah, thought James. Sir Topham Hatt knows I'm a fine engine. He wants me to pull a special train. Sir Topham Hatt told me to stay here. He sent a message this morning. He did not. How could he? He's away for a week. Oh, said James. Oh, where's Percy? I say, you engines, I'm to take some freight cars to Thomas's Junction. Sir Topham Hatt chose me especially. He must know I'm a really useful engine. More likely he wants you out of the way, grunted James. Gordon looked across to James. They were going to play a trick on Percy. James and I were just speaking about signals at the junction. We can't be too careful about signals, but then I needn't say that to a really useful engine like you, Percy. Percy felt flattered. We had spoken of backing signals, put in James. They need extra special care, you know. Let's start quickly before they see us. He was too late. Gordon saw everything. They thought the subject was funny. Percy thought they were being very silly. Do you know what? Asked Percy. What? Grunted Gordon. Do you know what? Silly, said Gordon. Of course I don't know what, if you don't tell me what is. Sir Topham Hatt says that the work in the yard is too heavy for me. He's getting a bigger engine to help me. Rubbish, said James. Any engine could do it. If you worked more and chattered less, this yard would be a sweeter, a better, and a happier place. Henry watched Duck quietly doing his work. He seems a simple sort of engine. We'll have some fun and order him about. Quack, 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 whoosh! Smoke billowed everywhere. Duck and Percy calmly sat on the switches outside the shed, refusing to let the engines in. Gordon, James, and Henry were furious. Stop that noise! Bellowed Sir Topham Hatt. They won't let us in, hissed Gordon. Duck, explain this behavior. Beg pardon, sir, but I'm a great Western engine. We do our work without fuss. But begging your pardon, sir, Percy and I would be glad if you would inform these engines that we only take orders from you. Hello, said Percy. Who are you? I'm Harold. Who are you? I'm Percy. What whirly great arms you've got. They're nice arms, said Harold. I can hover like a bird. Don't you wish you could hover? Certainly not. I like my rails, thank you. I think railways are slow, said Harold. They're not much use and quite out of date. He whirled his arms and buzzed away. At the quarry. I say, Toby, that Harold, that stuck-up whirlybird thing, says I'm slow and out of date. Just let him wait. I'll show him. Listen, boys, the fireman called. Here's a song for Percy. Said Harold the helicopter to our Percy, you are slow. Your railway is out of date and not much use, you know. But Percy and his stone cars did the trip in record time, and we beat the helicopter on our old branch line. Percy loved it. Oh, thank you, he said. He liked the last line best of all. Things always went wrong when he had to take it out. His trains were late, and he was blamed. Douglas began to worry. Donald, his twin, was angry. You're a muckle nuisance, said Donald. It's to leave you behind I be wanting. You can't, said the brake van. I'm essential. Ah, are you? Donald burst out. You're nothing but a screeching and a noise when all's said and done. Spite doggy, would you? Take that! Oh! Oh! Cried the van. There's more coming should you misbehave. I am disappointed, Donald. I didn't expect such clumsiness from you. Anyone would think, said Douglas, that Donald had had his accident on purpose. I hear tell about an engine and some tar wagons. Shut up, said James. It's not funny. He didn't like to be reminded of his own accident. Well, well, well. Surely, James, it wasn't you. You didn't say. James didn't say. Twins were looking glum. They told him Sir Topham Hatt was making a decision. He'll send us away for sure. It's a shame, said Percy.
A lot of nonsense about a broken signal box, grumbled Gordon.
That spiteful brake van, too, put in James. Good riddance, that's what I say.
She shuddered at the engine shed.
This is dreadfully smelly. I'm highly sprung, and anything smelly is bad for my swerves. This is better, said Daisy, but whatever is that rubbish? The rubbish turned out to be Annie, Clarabelle, and Henrietta, who were most offended.
We won't stay here to be insulted, they fumed. Stuff and nonsense, said the station master. I can't understand, said the shunter. Whatever made Sir Topham Hatt send us such a feeble...
Feeble, spluttered Daisy. The freight cars grumbled to each other.
This is Toby's place. Percy's got no right to poke his funnel up here and push us around.
They whispered and passed the word.
Pay Percy back. Pay Percy back.
Come along, puffed Percy. No nonsense. We'll give him nonsense, giggled the freight cars.
The diesel looked up.
Do you mind?
Yes, said Bill. I do. I want my cars back.
These are mine,
said the diesel.
Go away.
Bill pretended not to be frightened. You're a big bully, he whimpered. You'll be sorry. He ran back and hid behind the cars on the other side. Ben now came forward. Car stealer? Hissed Ben. He ran away too. Bill took his place. This went on and on till the diesel's eyes nearly popped out.
Stop, you're making me giddy.
Ben, why are you playing here? We're not playing, protested Bill. We're rescuing our cars, squeaked Ben. Even you don't take our cars without asking, but this diesel did.
There's no real harm in them, he said to Boko, but they're maddening at times.
Boko chuckled.
Maddening, he said, is the word.
It was their last afternoon, and Edward was preparing to take them to meet Bill and Ben. He found it hard to start the heavy train. Did you see him straining? Asked Henry. Positively painful, remarked James.
Just pathetic,
grunted Gordon.
He should give up and be preserved before it's too late.
Shut up, burst out Duck. You're all jealous. Edward's better than any of you.